Hello. I thought we would start with walking through my little berry garden before moving on to the rose garden up in the front. So back here are my berries. I have a goji berry right here. Now that you can tell, it's super struggling. I don't know if it's ever going to produce fruit. I need to look them up a little more to understand what it wants. To be honest, I just haven't been doing a good job with it because I've been busy and not paying attention to it. The blueberries have been so low maintenance that I've gotten away with doing very little, and I kind of like that. So we'll see. I'll talk to you about the blueberries a little more as we get closer. This is my raspberry, and they are mostly done for the year. So they just need to be pruned back. I just haven't done it yet. So the way that you can tell is you can see this is very yellow. It's ready to be done. They're like, listen, I don't want to do this anymore, right? So you cut back all the branches that look brown like this, because if you look at this stem, you see this stem is really green and nice. So you keep these ones because this is what's going to bear new fruit. You can see this one actually tried to flower this year, but these ones, they just need to be cut back. So you can really see the difference, right, between the two types of stems. And I just need to go do that maintenance at some point. I just haven't done it yet. My blueberries are doing very well. They produced a ton of fruit this year. We are approaching the end of blueberry season, but I still have some late blueberries on the plant. So you can see there's still some blueberries in there. I've decided that I don't like the honeyberries. I think it's not that they don't grow well. You can see they grow well, they're beautiful. I may even transplant them because they are beautiful. I want to give them that credit at least. But they just, for the amount of space that they take up, I could have a blueberry and I could have 10 times the amount of fruit, right? Like, it's just not worth the space that they're taking up. The amount of fruit that I could have is so much more. And I feel the same way about the currant. Back here, I have a white currant. Again, beautiful, but for this space, I could have so much more fruit. So I'm going to take these out. I'm going to probably transplant them to maybe just use as a ground cover, because I do have some space on this side that's not very well used up. And I just want to have better use of the space for the amount of food that I get. This year, the wild potatoes are wild, and so this is all potato everywhere. And they're still green. They're still like so happy. I don't even know if there's potatoes in there, but I don't know. I just need to go try to dig for some potatoes, I guess. So little blueberries. I still have blueberries on the plants, which is great because one of the reasons that I planted the blueberries that I did was to try to have a wide window of harvest. And so I do, and I'm excited about that. And so one of the things that I want to do is to put in some more late blueberries so that I have more of a late season harvest as well. I'm pretty heavy on early season right now. So I'm gonna take out those and just put in maybe a tree, maybe some other berry bushes. I don't know. It's a lot of space. Those three, the two honeyberries and the currants, take up probably 10 feet of real estate at least right there. So that's a lot of space that I could have back and plant something beautiful or something edible or both. I want to show you my fig. My fig is ready for harvest. It's starting to drip from its bag. So this is very ready. I'm gonna harvest that right after we talk. My peach is intensely big. Let me step back. This is my peach, and it is humongous. I love it, but it is humongous. It needs to be pruned again to keep it healthy and keep it producing and keep it branching in the right way, because you can see it likes to produce branches that point down towards the ground. But you see, if you have a branch that points towards the ground, when the branch has fruit on it, it's just gonna break right off. So you have to cut the tree such that you keep only branches that point up, so that when the fruit comes, it doesn't just like snap the branch right off or drag the branch toward the ground, right? Because gravity. And there's no fruit on it this year, but it still needs to be maintained. And then I would expect next year that I would have a pretty decent harvest. So fingers crossed on that peach. This is my Asian pear that's been super struggling for the past couple years. The peach and the pear are the same age, but the size difference between the two, look at, right? Crazy. The pear is producing fruit this year, and it is growing on all 4 grafts. So this one, that one, this one, this one. So this is a multi-fruit tree, and it's just been struggling a lot. And one of the things that I want to do is to cut back. So you can see that this graft is the most vigorous graft, and these are the weaker grafts. And so part of the challenge of multi-graft trees is to prune them to keep the 4 grafts productive, keep all 4 grafts in check with each other, so that you don't have this like gross imbalance of growth pattern because one is more vigorous than the other. On this side, I have some berries that I've been neglecting to harvest because I've been so busy, but we'll come through and harvest these soon. And I've got some cranberries that I have no idea how to grow, but it's still doing its thing. It seems to be okay. I have no idea if that's, is this good or not? I also don't know if blueberries are self-fruitful, so I don't even know if this thing's going to fruit this year or not. But, I'm just letting it go and seeing how it goes this year. Let's see. My irrigation is running right now, so there's a little bit of drippy drips everywhere. Let's see. Oh, I want to show you this lily that's growing back here. That's super struggling from the heat. I'm gonna take out all the lilies from my garden. I love lilies so much. But I have such intense lily beetle damage, and all my research seems to point to just give up and don't plant lilies anymore. So I might have to do that, which is really sad. Down here I have sage. And oh my gosh, these are like the berries that you eat from IKEA. I forgot what they're called, the Swedish berries. And a bay tree. I really like the bay tree because it's very structural, and I can keep it really small because I only need a small amount of it for culinary purposes. And then here I have an Abraham Darby. This is my favorite rose right now. I'm sure that'll change, but it's gorgeous. And I just realized I have a giant weed right here, and we do not need to share resources like that, so we're gonna pull it out and kill it. You can see there used to be a lot of weeds and crap in here. This is an apple tree. I like the apple tree, but okay, so this is a columnar apple. I love the shape of the apple tree. I have no problem with that. But this one, the first fruit that it produced, I didn't like the taste of the fruit. So I don't know if it's because the tree was just like a juvenile or what, but I am debating replacing this tree with better fruit tree because it takes way too much energy and time to grow a tree and not love its fruits, It's a 3-year investment at least. Oh my gosh, the weeds in these pots are ridiculous. This is Doc. Absolutely hate those. This is a fig that is very small and definitely not ready for fruiting. So hopefully it'll produce some next year. I'm trying. I would love a bigger structured tree right here, I think. So I need to figure out my life with the fruit tree situation here. I think I could do another one right here. I think the columnar apple is great. I just wish it produced fruit that I like. So I don't know. I might trade it away for something else. We'll see. These are some sunflowers and zucchini and my persimmon tree that is doing super well. It's so good. It's growing really well. I think I need to cut it again to encourage some more branching because I'm starting to get pretty long branches with no side branching. That's what I want, right? Lots of, like you can see down here, there's a lot of side branches, and the side branches is how you get fruit lower on the tree, because upper branches do me no good. Let's look at some of these squashes. This is zucchini. I actually don't have a great zucchini harvest this year yet. So you can see some of the zucchinis down there, but they haven't really been doing much. I started these pretty late, and so this whole bed was late. These sunflowers probably won't be ready till the end of August, and that's okay. I don't mind it. It's good because I don't need to have a massive harvest right now because I have a lot of harvest from the front, and so it works out well for me to have some balance. Down here are some herbs that I'm growing. There's some parsley and some this is gnyai. I don't know what it is in English. And then I've got an alocasia here. We eat the stem of it, but it's too small to eat right now, so I'm just letting it live. And I've got some raku that's almost certainly ready for harvest. I just haven't done it because time and life. And this is my cherry tree that is really pretty. And it still has the remnants of the damage earlier in season, but let this be a lesson, right? Like, the tree is doing fine. It's not the most pretty looking leaves, but it's got new growth. It's got a bunch of new buds. It's branching. It's doing fine. So I just need to feed them, give them water, and they will harden up these buds for the fall, and then we'll just ride through winter this year together. On this side, we have some marigolds and some roses, but well, there's no buds on this rose for me to show you. I don't love this rose right now. It's not the pink one. I love the Double Delight, but this is Old Wollaton Hall, and I don't know. I don't love the color. I'm gonna let it go for a little bit and see, but I think I may change it because I don't love the color on it, and so I think I may probably sell it and get a different one because there are so many beautiful things to have. So I don't need to do that. This one I love. This is Rodal, and I like the shape and I like the butter yellow. So the issue with the other one is that it starts out this white. Okay, so you can see kind of the color difference, right? This is not even that old of a bloom. So here, let me show you when it starts. It starts out this very kind of yellow-y color, and then it blooms into this butter color, and then eventually it turns this white. See, it's starting to be spent. It's losing the petals now, right? But it still has this very buttercream base, and I love that about this rose. The Old Wollaton Hall, it is too white, I think. It's just kind of washed out looking, and I don't know. I don't love it. So we'll see. I wanted to walk back behind my tomatoes to show off some of my fruit. And my little spray rose right here, that's really pretty. That's about to be spent, needs to be trimmed back. But I've got a lot of tomatoes. None of them, well, there's a couple that are ripe. So you can see a couple, but it's not a lot. And this is a big problem. We are at the end of July and I am not swimming in tomatoes. I am going to drastically cut these back this week, probably this weekend, if I have time today, to encourage them to fruit, because this is an unacceptable amount of fruit. You can see, look how much fruit I need to ripen. All of this, right? Some of these are still too small. Like the plant is doing well, it's very healthy, but winter is around the corner and I need them to ripen up like stat. So we're gonna see how they do. But I think they're gonna have to be encouraged to fruit. So I may top them because they're still getting tall. I don't need them to get tall, I need them to ripen, right? Like if we're lucky and we have a dry September, maybe they can ripen into September. But if it's a wet year and September hits and it starts raining, like that's it. there's no more fruit, you know? So I'm gonna top these off and try to get them to fruit as soon as possible, because I have been here long enough to know that fruiting in September is very, very dicey. This is another cherry, and I really like this one because I think the structure is wonderful. It's got this vase shaped right there, and it's got all of its stems doing really, really well. So it's, you know, the first couple years, it's not so much about getting fruit from the tree. It's about making sure that the tree has appropriate structure so that when the tree is strong enough and big enough to produce like a huge amount of fruit, that the branches aren't going to break. And so one of the ways to do that is to encourage branching. So when you cut the tips, right, these branches look so nice, but you see this one I didn't cut. So there's no branches, it's just nothing. But this one I cut back, and so there's buds. And that one I cut back and there's buds. So I just missed cutting some of these, and so I'm gonna come through and cut them to make sure that we get buds, because those buds are what produces extra branches and keeps the tree low, keeps the tree at a good angle so that they can fruit really, really well. This is strawberries. My strawberries are doing awesome. Strawberry season is obviously over, but right now what they're doing is so this bed is very, very well fertilized and has very good soil, and what it's doing is it's sending a tremendous amount of energy into runners everywhere and runners on the ground. I love using the strawberries as ground cover, so I'm just going to continue to let them do their thing and take over this entire area. I may regret that in a year or two, but for now it's perfectly fine. And what it's going to do is help me not have to deal with the weeds in some of these areas, right? Because at least with strawberries, I can eat them. With other weeds, I cannot. Pretty thyme that's blooming and some rosemary in the ground. I'm starting to experiment with putting more things in the ground here as the soil starts to improve. The soil here is terrible in ground, so it needs a couple years to build up that energy, build up the organic material needed to support life. This is my gladiolus bed. I have cut all the gladiolus, so that's it for them for the year. Right now they're just gathering energy for next year, which is wonderful. This is totally on me. I did not give them adequate support this year, and so you can see they're just like everywhere. I'm probably gonna come through and try to straighten them up and put some sort of support in here, but I just didn't this year. I was lazy and they look like a mess. These are garlic chives, Nira, and I am going to, let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do it with one. So they bloom, they make flower heads and seed heads, and they start to open like this. See the little seeds? And you literally can just take the little seed heads right there and chuck it on the ground. And that's how we get more garlic chives. I mean, you can divide them too, but I eat out of this bed mostly, so I'm not going to bother to divide that too much. But I have a lot of Nira kind of everywhere now, thanks to reseeding and splitting plants and things like that. Now is not the time to split Nira, so you just take the seeds and you just chuck them into areas where you want some Nira. So, see? Seed, chuck. That's how I grow stuff. Hydrangea blooming, doing so good, very exciting. This one is growing so well too. This is Star Jasmine. I am trying to get them to to reach. It's not quite there yet, but that's okay. I love Star Jasmine. I want to have a little white blooming moon garden moment right here. Oops, sorry, spider. I didn't mean to break your web. I didn't see you. So this corner is all white colored blooms so that I can see it really well at night. So this one is just stunning at night. The jasmine is super fragrant at night. And then this is a white gardenia that I screwed up and almost killed it, and I have been babying it for weeks, and it's finally starting to recover and starting to put back on some leafy growth. And then this is a fig that hopefully will eventually get about 6 feet tall, so it's gonna kind of cover this little area here. I do want to eventually put something cute back there, but I don't know what that is yet, so I'm not gonna do anything with that this year. We'll walk over here and see rhubarb going nuts again. I'll probably harvest it one more time and just freeze it. I haven't done any baking. It is too hot to even think about the oven. I'm not going to do any sort of baking. But I will freeze it for eating later in the winter when I'm sad and there's no deliciousness to be had. I'm going to do that. So that's how I'm dealing with that problem right now. Artichoke is done, so I'm going to trim that back, but my roses are flushing again. So Tess, look at Tess. I love Tess. Tess is the kind of rose that I think the Queen of Hearts would have had in her garden, and she would have tried to paint them this exact color. Over here we have Lady of Shalott. Lady of Shalott is really pretty and getting very, very tall up there. So I'm gonna need a ladder to be able to even deadhead. That's okay. And then a lot of these are just in bud. They're not in bloom yet. The blooms are up there. But we'll take a look at this one over here, which is blooming. This is Tiffany. Tiffany is struggling a little in the heat, but it is putting on new growth. I think some of the old growth is not doing great, but the new growth is doing really well. So hopefully it'll be okay. This is my second Abraham Darby here. Very pretty, not opened yet. And then this one, I don't know which one this one is actually. I need to look at the sign, but I don't see one. So pretty. Very pretty. And we have Eden right there, Hancian, and Joseph's Coat, I think. Joseph's Coat starts out very yellow and then turns red and then turns pink. So really pretty. Oh, it's loud. Gross. It's pretty early in the morning, but the commuters are starting to pick up. This is a knockout rose, coral, and then it fades into like a light pink. So you can see the pink right there versus the coral. so it loses that yellow coloring. This big one here is Queen Elizabeth, very fragrant. This is my favorite rose shape, this like very peony round shape, but it's better than peonies because peonies only bloom once a year. And then here I've got At Last. It's so florific, beautiful, just grows beautifully, but it's so tiny and it keeps trying to bloom regardless. So back here I've got an unknown hybrid tea type rose. It smells really good, but I don't know what it's called. I'm gonna try to get an ID for it someday. And then we have Perfume Breeze back here. I love this. You know, it's very different than the rest of my roses. I have big bloomers, and then I've got this one that just blooms these tiny flowers, but it blooms in such great big clusters. Like, look at. And I think it's gonna make a really nice contrast once it grows up and starts to climb this huge trellis and starts to make these big clusters on the trellis. But for now, it's just hanging out. And then I've got some another second climber right here. I actually forgot what this one's called, but it needs to be clipped to the trellis because I don't need this stabbing me as I walk through. And then we've got another hybrid tea right here. This one is called Eleganza Oh Happy Day. What a weird name. And then over here, more Star Jasmine and a Mock Orange because sense. Yeah. And that's kind of all I've got going right now. Let's walk back and look at Queen Elizabeth because Queen Elizabeth is so pretty. Look. Isn't she pretty? She's a really good rose. All right. Well, that's all. Bye.